like glowing. If you're getting them, I'm getting them. Hi, hello, and welcome to The Bookish Life.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Tori, and in today's episode, it's actually a very exciting one. Well, we're going to talk about our 1 year working in the book industry.
Woohoo!
Has it already been a year?
Insane. Yeah. Well, because it's now summer break for everybody, and I was like, oh my God, like, I haven't been a teacher for a year. It's crazy.
Doesn't it feel great, though?
Yes, it honestly does. And I'm not even like mad that I don't get a summer break, which like makes this job. Because I know I'm jumping right in, but I watched so many like quitting teacher TikToks the last like 6 months of teaching.
Oh my God.
So jealous. And people were like, I mean, there were people who were working at like Costco, like in the bakery or like just any other kind of job. And they're like, I don't miss, I mean, like obviously you miss like not having to work, but you don't miss the breaks because you're not so exhausted from overworking that you like are desperately needing the breaks.
Yeah.
So like before I'm like, oh my God, it's Monday. Like Sunday, I would hate Sundays because I'm like, oh my God, I have to go to work tomorrow. Now I'm like, oh, it was Monday. It was great.
Yeah. I also was thinking of that. Like sometimes I'll see like the Sunday scaries, like some of those come up like on TikTok. And I was like, I used to hate Sundays because like Saturdays I would sit down and do nothing, which I still do nothing on Saturdays. But then like Sundays would come around and I'd have to like meal prep and I'd have to grocery shop and I'd have to do like all of this stuff on Sundays just to be prepared for the week. And I'd be like so exhausted from just doing that I'd have to get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning on Mondays. And I'm like, how the hell did I do that? I know.
I feel like now though it's Sundays where you don't do anything. Like
it depends.
I feel like you do more content on Saturdays and then you just like.
Depends on when I wash my hair.
Oh.
So if I have like fresh hair Saturday, I bulk content film on Saturday. But if I wash my hair like Saturday night for Sunday, then I bulk content on Sunday.
And the other day is your I'm not leaving the couch day.
The bed, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. When I come over, you're always on the couch. And I forget that you like to spend a lot of time in bed.
Yeah. I mean, either one, but I like to sleep in the bed now, like relax in the bed, because then I hide from Missy. Yeah. I can close the door and she doesn't attack me. Yeah. She just wants to like hang out all the time and be all over me. And she's so sweet. She does. I was just in the bedroom and she was just like all over me while I was like getting ready to film this. And I'm like, Missy, I love you, but oh my fucking God.
Yeah, she can be a lot.
Yeah. If I lay on the couch, sometimes she just wants to like lay on top of me. And that's like 60 pounds on top of me. That's half my body weight. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was a little tangent there. But sorry. You have been working longer than a year, though.
Just about.
Like well, I mean, like kind of, because I think we jumped into Artemis stuff very quickly from when I stopped teaching, like immediately. Because I remember I went on vacation like a week or two after the school year was out and I had to do some stuff over vacation. But we had already started Forever and Always. You were deep into working already, so...
Kinda. So like for March and April and a little bit of May, I was like still trying to figure out like what I was doing. Like Becca let me do some marketing analysis stuff and like dipping my toe in that. And I was doing a lot of Patreon stuff and really just being more so her assistant and getting all like our Forever and Always stuff set up. I was doing most of that towards the end because you worked a lot. And then really in like May with Artemis, we really like, or it was mostly June, we like hit the ground running of like stuff. And then June turned into July, and then August and September, and then I interviewed with Rebecca in October, and then like it just kept like
here we are
going, here we are.
Yeah which is crazy. But like I mean we were both kind of like really not scared but like nervous jumping into like being self-employed because like I mean, and I was just complaining about this on my Patreon reading sprints yesterday. I had to find a new dentist because my new dental insurance doesn't like completely cover every single dentist. So even if they're like in network, they're not like actually fully in your network. So I owed like money the last time I went to the dentist. I was like, what the heck? And then I figured out they're not covered. So then I finally found a new dentist, and it's just like, you don't have that problem. Oh, I think we've already talked about it. I need to go.
Okay, I will say for
marry someone for insurance.
For dentists, if your school had really good at dental insurance, because every single time I've gone to the dentist, even with Brandon's insurance, I still owe $150 minimum.
No, like what the heck? I've never had to pay.
For a cleaning, it's like my deductible. That's like $50. But if I have like my chipped tooth when I had to redo that, that was like I had to pay like I think it was like $250 for that because it was a major, like it was my front tooth and like there's all this stuff. But like
I've had to pay like getting cavities and stuff. But
yeah, health insurance in general, dental, vision, that's all stupid. It's all stupid.
Well, yeah, and I haven't had vision insurance because I only go once a year, and like the last time I went was like July. So, but now I'm like, oh my God, now it's time to go back to the eye doctor. So I have to figure that out. And then insurance is just so expensive because like I'm on obviously like private insurance. And so, and it went up $100 from last year to this year. And I'm like, is this going to happen every year? Like, am I eventually gonna be paying like $1,000 a month for insurance? Like this is absolutely ridiculous.
It won't be $1,000, but it'll be expensive.
It went up $100 in a year. So like 5 years from now.
Yeah, that's one thing that like people I just don't understand in the US, that like if you work for yourself and you're not married,
it's so hard.
You're fucked with insurance. Like it does not make any sense. Like I would never do this if me and Brandon were still like not married. Like we just got married in 2021. So if we weren't married, we still had separate insurance. Like in my job, I was covered under mine. He was covered under his, because most jobs, they don't like look at a domestic partnership as like you can be added. You have to be like truly married.
Actually married.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's stupid in and of itself.
Yeah.
Even though we live together and like,
it's
just
but like sense. I definitely like prepared, like you were able to do what you did because you also had Brandon. He has a solid income. He has insurance. I am single, but I live with my sister, which is nice, splitting like bills and stuff, because I wouldn't be able to have a house if I didn't have my sister. But I was in a good place when I quit because I had 6 months to plan and I did have savings. So I knew I'd be taking a pay cut because I had my master's as a teacher. I was making like a decent amount of money.
But you still got paid through the summer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it ended in August for you.
So then I also got paid through August, and I was making money from my like job now, so that was really nice. But then I also make money through like Patreon and YouTube, so like I have a lot of avenues of which, like I've seen people on like TikTok, they're like, now it's normal to have like 3 jobs like that you're using to support yourself in this economy kind of thing. So I have to like hustle a lot to be able to do what I love. So
yeah,
which is also something we can talk about like how we still have no good life work balance a year later.
I feel like I'm like I really kind of figured it out though. Like I don't know. My process is very different than yours, and we always talk about that.
Yeah.
But we also have like you said, going back to like different revenue, because I was like, I think when I was visiting you, like we were talking about that, like will we ever have to like go back to like doing
I know.
Not this. It was scary. I also like I get random emails sometimes still. It was like
you texted me.
We're looking for a remote paralegal. Would you still be interested? And I texted Jess and she's like, delete that email. And I'm like, but would I ever have to? Like it's so scary. Like I don't want to.
I would never go back to the classroom.
You'd do something completely different if you like had to.
But also I also see on TikTok like getting a job now in any field is so hard.
Yeah.
So hard. So even if because I think I took like spring break to like just like see what was out there, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
I remember helping you with that. I remember like sending you jobs too.
And they were just like, would I like doing this? Maybe. I mean, like I like honestly love what I do right now, like so much, and it's just like, and I feel like also having you do the same thing is just like makes it also more fun too, because we just like to talk about what we do and like bounce ideas off of each other, and like if we make something we send it to each other, we're like, how does this look, like let me know. And the fact that we work for one of the same people now too, so we like literally are co-workers, and like who wouldn't want to work with their best friend? I mean, like okay, like maybe some people wouldn't be able to do that, but it's just a lot of fun. Yeah. Obviously, like, as you guys know, we'd, like, get annoyed about little things, but, I mean, like, that's normal. Like, I feel like we wouldn't have a healthy relationship if we didn't have little... but we don't fight. I don't think we've ever fought about work.
About work, no.
Yeah. No, but even like when we had that little like rift, we never like fought. I mean,
No.
I'm not a fighting person. Like we've talked about
just
that.
ignored each other until we were in person and we're like, oh, okay, we got to talk this out. So
yeah,
that's exactly how it went.
Mm-hmm. But we all know who's right in the end on that one. So
yeah. But it is fun working together because there'll be times where like I'll just FaceTime you and I'm like, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
And it's like a 5-minute conversation. Then I'm like, okay, I got to go pee. Bye.
Which happened today. Or when you like, you get in these like really intense inspirational moods where you want to do like everything at once.
Oh, yeah.
And you get really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we end up on FaceTime for 2 hours at like 8 o'clock at night when I'm trying to read.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like swallowed wrong.
But it is nice because like I think both of us, we do like routine. I know like you have a basic routine. It changes daily, but I feel like you know what you want to get done and how you want to get done. And I have my routine too. And I love my routine now compared to what I was when I had to like go in and work somewhere.
I know. Like, yes, like so my start time, I should say, can change. So like sometimes, like today it was, I got up at like 8:45. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people may not understand it. And like we both talk about like how different it is, but mine stems from like my chronic illness, right? Like before when I worked in an office or even when I worked from home, I still had to be on time, like logged in at a certain time. And most of the time, honestly, I would log in and I go back to sleep for an hour because I'm like so exhausted. I can't fucking work at 8 a.m. Like my brain just does not do that. Like it just, like, I don't know. I'm just not as productive, and I know that about myself. And so like having this, like, I really want to do like a day in the life video. Like sometime this week, I think it would be fun to be like my 10 a.m. routine because like it's funny, but like that's what I do. I get up and I have my breakfast and I do my thing and then I work and I do this and I may take a nap, but then I also get up and I work some more and I'm very productive and I know how my body and my mind feels. I don't know. And like you thrive with getting up early and working out and starting your day that way and like getting everything out the way first and then having like your free time at night. But I also stay up later than you. So we all have like our, I mean, if you ask any like author assistant, they're like totally and completely different with how they do their things too. Like Victoria, I know she works. We both don't like mornings when we have to do meeting stuff for Artemis, and it's always in the afternoon because we hate mornings. Like we just don't, it just, you know, whatever. It doesn't work out. Like, I don't know. It's very, people say that like working remote and like corporate is nice. And yes, that is very nice. But also working, I say for yourself, but we still work for people. But setting your own hours, knowing the tasks that you have to do is just so, it's so less stressful. Do you know what I mean? Like, of course, if I forget something, then I'm really stressed. Like if I forget to put it in my planner or something comes up and I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to get this done now. I drop everything and I do it. But that happens like very few times because we plan so much and because we know like what's coming up. We're like very into everyone's business. Well, I say into everyone's business. We're like ingrained in the author's business. Like we want.
In tune. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a better word.
Yeah.
It's a better word.
Yeah. But I do think it's important for you to like do something like a day in the life because like there are people like you who might feel like guilty or bad that they can't get started at 6 a.m. and like work. Like I mean, I've always been a morning person, but like if it's like 8 o'clock, I'm like, I am so dead. I need to go to bed. Like my brain is not working like it would at like 8 o'clock in the morning. But that's just me. But there's people like you who do thrive at like, okay, I'm going to get up at 10. I'm going to like get this stuff done. And even if it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night and you're still working and you're working fine and that's like what works for you. Yeah. I mean, people
but it's also
like to see that.
I still have at least like 2 hours for me to like lay down and relax and read. Not only because that's for like my content part, like me as like a booktuber type thing, but also that's my relaxing time. Like that's what I've always done to relax. So I still make time for that. But if I stop working at 9, I usually don't go to bed till 11 or 11:30, 12 at night anyway. So I still have that time. So it's just like, I don't know, it just... I did feel guilty for a really long time because like I would compare myself to you and be like, I want to be like Jess and I want to wake up early, and it just did not work. No, just does not work for me. And I'm like, you know what, that's okay.
Which is fine. Yeah,
I'm okay with that. You know that TikTok sound?
Oh yeah.
That's the second time I mentioned a TikTok sound. My brain.
I did think that because you brought up like content creation and stuff, I thought I'd be able to juggle that a lot easier. in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I also thought I wouldn't fully fill, because I work for 3 people, and I was like, well, I see some like author assistants work for like 6, 7, 8 people, and I was like, oh, I'm only gonna be working, and at the time I only started out working for 2, well, really 1, and then like I slowly added them on, and I was like, I'm gonna have plenty of time to like do content creation, like build that up. No, like the work that we do, I'm working, like last month I worked over 40 hours, I think, every week, because it was an insane month. I think this past week was the first week I didn't work 40 hours, because I worked 39 because you were here. So
but we still worked a lot when we were there.
We did. But like that's also one of my favorite things about like working this job, as I reflect on our year, is that like I've gotten to travel a lot, and I wouldn't have been able to do that with my teaching job, because we only had 5 personal days that we could take off in the entire year. And like if you were caught going on vacation or something, you'd get in trouble. So because then you got like unlimited sick days, but like, and then we can like visit each other and just like hang out and still get work done. Like we worked almost full days all 3 days that you were here.
Yeah.
So which was fun.
So what is a full day to you? 8 hours?
Yeah.
Mine's 6.5. If I make it 6.5, I'm golden.
Yeah.
That's like my like prime, but I also will work Saturday and Sunday.
True.
If I need to, like if there's stuff that comes up. I mean, obviously like I'll work more in like release weeks and stuff like that, and when stuff and projects come up, but I think like I thrive on like a good 7-hour day.
Yeah.
I figured that out in the last, like, I know we talked about this of like taking on another client, because I work for 2 authors and you work for 3, and then I'm like more of an assistant to Becca.
Yeah.
So you were like, would you take on another client? I'm like, no. I mean, I would love to make more money, but like I would not have time for content.
So much.
I would not have time for content. I wouldn't have time to like prioritize like taking Miko on a walk every day, or like cooking dinner. Like I'm trying to get better at doing all those things, like housewife things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I would do that, but I've had more time for content, but then I'm stuck with content. I'm like, I don't know what to do for content. We just had this conversation today. So
yeah.
But I do feel like sometimes like I'm always on my phone. That's one thing that I've realized in the last year.
I was thinking about that today.
Yeah.
It's like I'm tired of Instagram sometimes. And I was like, what would it feel like if I just didn't go on social media for like 48 hours?
Oh my God. Well, I went
glorious.
When I went camping, I say camping, quote unquote camping. It was in an RV.
In a very nice RV.
It's a very, yeah, it's like glamping. But like for me, yeah. I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. This is not for me. I didn't have like signal for like all of Friday night. And I was like, my life is ending. This is very weird. Like it was nice for a little bit, but then I was like, what if I'm missing something?
Yeah.
That was nice to have a break for like 8 hours. But after that, I was like, I want to be like in tune, because I just feel like I'm going to miss something. Like what if there's a trend that comes up? Like it was the same weekend where everyone's doing the name trend. And I just like, was like, oh, I should do this for Rebecca. Like all this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you have to stay on top of that, because like we help with content creation for our authors. I do both TikTok and Instagram, like coming up with ideas. And so if you see a trend, you're like, you have to jump on it for the authors. I mean, like we do it for ourselves too, but it's just like a lot. And then I was good for a while, and then I got bad again about like sitting on TikTok at night, because then it's like for myself finally and not for like everybody else. And then I'm like, it's an hour later and I'm like, what did I just do? Like I need to stop. So that's something I definitely want to work on.
Yeah, I'm trying to be better like after I get out of the shower, because like before I get in bed for the night, I take a shower. Always take a shower. And so when I'm just like getting out of bed, I'm like, okay, just put my pajamas on. I give myself 30 minutes to scroll Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. That's all I do. Like 30 minutes, and then I will go read. Sometimes I'm like, I pass that, and then Brandon comes in. He's like, oh, I'm going to bed. I'm like, no, what are you doing? You're ruining my reading time. He's like, it's 10:30. I'm like, I need to read.
Yeah. Which, speaking of reading, I do also think that I just feel, well, I think we talked about another episode where like I could sneak in a lot more reading time during my other job. There is zero downtime in this job, and I am reading a lot less. And sometimes it gets stressful because like you feel like you have to, as a content creator, like keep up on the new releases and like all the recs that like you can give. like in posts and then on YouTube, and then you're worried, you're like, am I being creative enough? Or like, because not YouTube, and YouTube, Instagram's algorithm was like being weird recently, and so like posts are going way down in views, and like it's been frustrating. But then it's like I don't have like all the time and energy to put to that when so much of my creative energy goes towards my job.
Yeah. And I think
which is hard.
For like really Rebecca, that's really what I do for content. I do a lot of content for Rebecca, so it's not like I do that for Catherine and Becca, which is nice. So it doesn't take as much out of me. But I have noticed that it's harder to stay on top of and be more like creative with the content. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just takes me longer to do things. Like I remember before I could film a vlog in like a week and get like 5 books in.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, 1 book? 2 books maybe? Yeah. So I don't know. It's just like one of those things with content too. And I feel like every industry things change, like trends with books and covers and all of this and graphics and TikToks, like all the trends change. And I feel like on YouTube also trends change. Trends change. Oh my God. Why did that change? Oh my God. But like, I feel like now is like I feel like we're both like in between of what we want to do with our channel. Like I want to do more lifestyle stuff, but also doing more lifestyle stuff sometimes that can be exhausting or just boring because I sit at my desk and work every day.
Yeah, my day in the life videos.
Yeah, I saw that. Again. The most exciting part was like me being there because you wouldn't have done like half this stuff if I wasn't there.
Yeah. I just
so
sit
I'm
at my
like,
desk all day.
Yeah, so I'm like, even for Patreon, I'm like, am I doing enough for my patrons? Like, am I giving enough? Am I doing enough? Like, you know, you always think about that. So I don't know. I'm just like trying to figure out that too.
Trends also change with what like people want to watch. So like videos that used to do so well on my channel 2 years ago, like no one's watching that like topic anymore. So then you have to keep up on like, okay, what do people actually want from your channel and like keeping them interested in everything, which is just difficult. Yeah.
Like that part's hard. There's like obviously challenges. There's pros and cons to like every job, right? Like we can sit here and be like, oh, we struggled with this, but we really love this. But when it comes down to like the end of the day, I don't dread sitting down at my computer every day. And I used to do that when I was a paralegal. Even when I worked from home, I'd be like, fuck, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this today. You know what I mean? But I really enjoy what I do and like how I help and how I contribute and like my input like matters type of a thing. And that's a really cool feeling. And especially when you see that author like hit goals that they've had or goals they didn't even think they'd hit, like that's really cool to me. I don't know. That's a really cool part to be like a part of that process.
And it's fun to just like work for people that you're, I mean, I guess it could be bad, but like that you're so emotionally invested in too, because like, I mean, the 3 people I work for, I've been reading for years. Like Gianna, I've literally read for like 6 years now. So it's like, and I've always been like such a big fan of her. So just like being able to help be a part of her business. And then like, it's also fun being able to, because I mean, you've experienced it with the different authors you've added on of getting experience doing different things and like being handed different tasks and like they trust you with so much. And I mean, that's always a good feeling. And I mean, because like I've said before, it's their livelihood. That they're trusting us with, which I mean like it makes you feel like you're part of like a bigger, I don't know what word I want to use, like bigger picture project, and then you like feel really proud of the work that you're doing. Like I feel really proud is like a good thing. But I also know like going back to what you said, like some people work for like 6 or 7 authors, like even if you only spend like 2 hours a week for one author, right, if you just do their newsletter stuff, like that's still an important part of their business. That like some people may just do newsletters for like 5 people and that's how they get their hours in, you know what I mean? Or some people do like content creation specifically, and like that's not to diminish anything. It's just so happens that the authors we work for, we're open to having someone do more than just like one specific task. So, you know, like I'm Rebecca's only PA. She doesn't have multiple PAs. I don't know if she wants to change that, but like as her business grows, obviously, like as Catherine's business grown, she like added more people to her team, and she realized that it takes more than just one person and stuff like that. So honestly, like just because I know there's like more indie authors out there that probably are like, how do I get a PA? Like on Threads, it's honestly so
like interesting to just scroll on threads
The
because
Reds
authors
is so toxic though.
it can be very toxic, but I do follow a lot of authors that they actually like ask questions, and like other authors that I would think would gatekeep stuff, they don't. They like openly say it and like you know, talk about it, and they put their comments or like, oh no, I like this but I don't like this program. Like they're really open, and it's actually cool to sit and to see some of that stuff. Now the influencer side of threads can be a little toxic, I'm not gonna lie. Like
I mean, even
readers,
I mean there's some authors that I'm like, you really shouldn't be complaining about this on the internet, like text a friend instead. But
oh yeah, I mean I don't always follow those type of people, or if I just scroll past it, I'm like they're doing what they want to do, like that's their business. Their social media stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. Like I don't know, it's a really cool part to be a part of it. So like even if like for Becca I do like such a smaller part now with some of her stuff, it's still really cool to be a part of that. So like if I were to add another author, it'd just be like newsletters or stuff like that.
I will say, like, you do see, though, like, the good and the bad of the industry that, like, we definitely knew existed before we were working this side, but, like, it's definitely, like, you see the frustrating sides of things, and, like, you see the true sides of certain people, and you're like, wow, like, I don't know. But I do feel like that's, like, in any kind of job, you get people like that, but kind of, like, takes off the rose-colored glasses of like the book industry a little bit.
Yeah, you can definitely tell people who are genuine and people who are not genuine, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of
I can't really get into. Because we don't like airing dirty laundry.
No,
online,
but it is something that you see. But it's also one of those things too, like I feel like we do a lot of cool things. Like we've gotten a lot to do a lot of cool opportunities like in the last year that we probably could have posted about like as they were happening, but we didn't. It's one of those things where it's like, what do you post as an influencer, and like keeping those two separate. Like sometimes it's hard for me because I just want to go off about something and I'm like, I can't.
And I have to remind you.
And I'm like, I'm an author assistant. Like I have to watch what I say. Like, you know, like going back to our assumptions, I tell it as it is. Sometimes I get very passionate and I just want to tell things.
We've got to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. But like, I will say like that part of it is something that I've had to navigate, was like keeping things separate, because I'm like, this really bugs me. But like also, I can't really say that because like my name is attached to these people, which is I think part of the reason. Like I know a lot of people are like, why didn't you just say who you work for? It's like that's the reason. Like I don't want my name attached to it, you know, 100%. Well, like that's what I was scared of.
I mean, yeah, because we have to be aware of like our actions are reflecting upon who we work for. And people are weird about that stuff too. So
like I just any like cool opportunity. I mean, I feel like we talk about it on our Patreon. We'll mention it in vlogs or stuff like that, like very briefly. I just don't like to blast, like, I don't know, maybe it's because like, I don't know, I just don't like to blast certain things. Like when we were able to like read King of Greed and Sloth really early. Did you read Greed early?
No, but we both beta read King of Sloth, and I've beta read a decent amount, but I don't post about it.
Yeah.
Because I also don't, like, I'm very aware of, like, how I'm perceived online, and I don't want people to see it as, like, bragging and, like, they're like, oh, well, how did you get to read this early? So I just, like, I mean, like, I'll tell Tori. I can brag to Tori, and I can, like, brag to my sister, but, like, I don't want to be seen as, like, bragging about things. So, like, there are opportunities we've had where we've, like, gotten to go to, like, really cool dinners with people, or, like, gotten to do fun things, and, like, I'm not posting about it all over social media because I don't want it to seem like I'm bragging. And, like, sometimes you just want to keep those things for yourself. You're like, this was a really cool experience, and I don't need to post about it all online. So
yeah, it's one of those things. It's like when Gianna thanked me in her acknowledgments for Caution to the Wind, and you told me about that, I flipped out. I was like, I've made it in life. Like, this is my dream. Like, oh my god, I'm in the back of like my name is in the back of someone's book. Like, that's cool as fuck, right? And I really wanted to post that because like that's just really cool, but I didn't know if that would come across as like bragging to some people. But I think it's really cool. Or like to have my name in King of Sloth in the back and in the acknowledgments for like helping her beta read that, like that's really cool. Like I get to, next time I take my brother to the bookstore, I'd be like, this is my name in this book in Barnes and Noble. Like that's really fucking cool. I don't know, like I just don't want it to come across as bragging, but for me it's like excitement, but I know it can come across as bragging to some people, and I never want that to come across like, I don't know. I'm very weird. We're both like that.
Yes. And I think definitely more so now that we're working for authors now, because we know people have certain feelings about people who work in the author space. And we've just become a lot more aware of how people perceive us and like what we post online. So we try not to do things that'll make people mad.
Like, also, one of the things I've stopped doing is like a lot of authors will reach out like in your DMs. It could be their assistant, but it's under their name, or like email and be like, hey, I want you to read this book. Here's a free ARC, or here's a PR package. And I will actually say no to some of those PR packages and or ARCs, because one, I know I'm not going to have time to get to them. And I feel like that's not fair for me to say like, yes, give me this free book when I'm probably not going to read it on time. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's not fair.
Yeah.
And I feel like, because like if I was that author and or assistant, I'd want someone to be open and honest about that, rather than me sending it and expecting them to post it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm very particular now. I mean, if I get like unsolicited stuff sent, that's totally different.
That's different.
I can't really I can't really help that. But like, I don't want to commit to reading and reviewing something just for the sake of like, you know, just getting something for free. I don't know. I've been very particular. Like, I've said no a couple of times just because I'm like, you can send me something if you want, like totally fine. Here's my address, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it. Like, I have a feeling I'm not going to. And most of the time, some authors will be like, I'll just send it anyway. It's just a thank you. Thank you for telling me. And that's happened. And sometimes they're like, no problem. If it changes, let me know and I'll send you an ARC.
Yeah.
They're very open about that.
Yeah. I've definitely said no to a lot more because I just do not have time. And then I get stressed. And then it's not good.
Yeah, because most of the time, I'm going to read it around the time. Even Nikki Castle's new book, I read that 2 days before it came out. That's just because I was doing a vlog and I wanted to finish this vlog before I started it. And do I feel bad that I didn't read it like way before? Because like I'm a huge fan of Nikki Castle. Yes.
Well, you don't have to read it. Like, you still read it before release day.
No, I know, but I felt like I wanted to jump in as soon as I got it, because I was very excited. Like I told you at Denver, I'm like, I really want to read this. Like when you were at Denver and you saw her. Yeah. It's like, I really want to read this now. But I was like, you know, I'm just been reading things later and later, because it's taking me longer and longer to read things.
Yeah.
It's all about balance. We're still trying to figure it out. We don't have it all. As much as it looks like we have it all figured out, we don't.
I mean, we both still get very stressed about like I know we talk very positively about our jobs, but it can get very, very stressful.
I feel like I haven't been stressed in a little while.
The spreadsheet.
Yeah, I was a little stressed about that.
I mean, it comes in waves, and so like it's definitely when we have like really, really big projects that like I'm like, oh my gosh, this is never ending. I'm spending like what feels like 10 hours a day on the same project and trying to juggle the tasks too, between, especially because like sometimes and like coming up, I'm gonna have authors who have releases, and like I think I had Gianna and Catherine release on the same day, didn't they?
In February, wasn't it? In February?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like, Serpentine and Ashes, yeah.
Yeah, usually Anna has one around when Catherine does, and I'm just like, normally release day, release week, release month is busier, and when you have like multiple people, you're like, there's so much to do. So
like I wanted to like wake up early. I was up at 8:45. I got to my desk at 9:30 after making breakfast and my coffee, and I was like, I'm gonna spend 4 hours in this morning to do influencer like research. Like that's a huge part of what I do. And I was like, I'm gonna do this. Didn't get an hour in because I sat down and all of this other stuff popped up, and I'm like, do I do it tonight?
Yeah.
Do I wake up early tomorrow and do it? Like,
it was funny because I don't remember when I told you this, but I sat down and I was like, wow, I really don't have a lot on my to-do list today. And I was like, is Friday. It going to happen where, and this happened a lot more like earlier on, where like, am I going to have enough work to like fill my hours? Like what do I do if I don't? And I was like, I guess that's fine. I'll just do like other stuff. And I was like, I had like been throughout the days like, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. Like, and they just like came in, and I was like, oh no, I got enough to do.
Yep.
More than enough to do. Yep. So yeah, it's just things are always constantly popping up. So you definitely have to be flexible. Yeah. Doing this job.
Yep. But also like for Rebecca, like we just had her burnout release, and I was like, wow, I can take a breath. No, because now I have to prepare for the next
cover
book
review
coming out and doing all this stuff and researching and starting all over. Like I took like a week break from like Rebecca. I say a week break. Like I still did stuff, but it was like not as much. And I was like, wow, this is great. But also Catherine's stuff went up because it was after release day for her. Mm-hmm. And before and after release, there's always more stuff for me to do. So it comes in waves and things happen. I just feel like this summer is going to be very busy, but then like Book Bonanza's next week.
But we're traveling more too, which is making me a little nervous because like we're going to Book Bonanza. So we know like our tasks we have to get done for Catherine, but it's like, okay, we have to do it this week, but we also have to get ahead and make sure we get next week's stuff done because we have like weekly things that we get done. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm probably gonna have to like put in more hours this week because I'm gonna be gone. And like we're leaving Wednesday. And so I'm like,
I mean, I can work for like 2 hours on the plane, which is
literally
nice.
I was like, before when I didn't have this job, I was like, plane rides equal like uninterrupted reading time. And now I'm like, it's uninterrupted work time. Like I don't get the extra like reading time. And I'm like, wow, I can do like 3 hours of work flying to Texas. So
see, like coming home, when I flew home from Ohio, I read because it was such a short flight that like trying to take out my laptop and like stuff, I would take it out. Yeah, that'd be not worth it. I'm like, I'm just gonna read. It's fine. But I have a plan. Like it's Monday that we're filming this Book Bonanza. We leave on Wednesday. I leave at 1. My flight's at 1:06, and I land at like 2:15.
Okay. Are we riding together?
Yeah, you land a little earlier. You land like 45 minutes earlier.
Yeah, my flight's at like 11:45.
Yeah, you land 45 minutes earlier than me.
It takes that much longer for me to get to Texas than you?
Yeah. Anyway, so I plan on working throughout the weekend, but also because we're going out of town, we got a bulk content film.
Yep. So we're doing our podcast today, and then we're also filming Thursday, and then I have to edit this weekend for the next week and get ahead on all my videos.
Yeah, and not only our YouTube videos, it's Patreon videos too. So it's like literally everything we have to get ahead of. And of course, our content like comes last. I know that sounds bad, but like, I'm getting paid to do stuff for like an author or like someone else, and that's like my first priority. And then I always like, obviously we're filming this at like 6 at night after I get like a bulk of all my stuff done, obviously. But
I know I'm done working, so
oh no, I took a nap, so I gotta go work again. But that's that's how I work. Like I needed a nap. I was like, my brain is like shutting down and I need to like take a second, so I'm gonna go take an hour nap. But I can take hour naps and be like ready to go. Like we all know I love my naps, but but basically I'll be working through the weekend. We just remembered a project that we have to do by Friday. That was like something we weren't prepared for. But
on top of Gianna asked me on Sunday to do something that I worked on for 4 hours today. Yeah, and I have to go back and continue working on it tomorrow and fix things. Yeah. So,
but also being in the indie world, like indie book world, sometimes is like Rebecca has a release in July. It's the week before I go to Hawaii for 7 days. And like, of course, I'll bring my laptop, but like, it's supposed to be like a vacation, and I know I'm gonna work.
I was like, am I ever gonna take a vacation where I don't do some sort of work?
I do think that for that, because it's like the week before, if I get all the content stuff, I can be like totally fine and just like check in. Obviously,
I know, but like, are you ever gonna take a vacation where you don't have to check in?
I mean,
like,
I probably could. I just feel guilty.
Unplugged.
Like this is one of the things. The authors don't make us feel guilty for taking vacations. This is 100% us. This is 100% us being like, hey, do you want me to do this? Hey, do you want me to do that? Like, I'm really gonna try and take a full vacation at least. I mean, I'll work on the plane because I have a 9-hour plane ride to Hawaii.
You can get a full day's of work done then.
I literally can get a full day of work, and that'll be on Saturday. Yeah. But coming home, it's a red eye, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
No.
But anyway. I'm going to do that in July, but then like when you go to Edinburgh and you do like
I literally was like, do I bring my computer? Like, am I going to have to be like checking in on things? Probably.
I will always bring my computer. Like now when I travel, I don't go anywhere without my laptop.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, what if something comes up? That's an emergency.
It's really hard to just like say, oh, I can wait. It's fine.
Yeah. But I was like that even as a paralegal. Like I would still try and like check in.
Yeah, no, I beyond caring by the end of teaching. I was like, I don't care. You're doing what you're doing.
But it was harder because I didn't have anything on my phone because everything was like encrypted. Mm-hmm. So like I couldn't.
You had to use your work laptop?
I didn't have a work one.
Your work computer?
Yeah, it would only be at home. But like,
yeah.
But if I go somewhere, I couldn't take it with me. So yeah.
But you like had
balance.
I mean, we have like, I bet we could like with Catherine, like if we really needed to, like I knew people could take my tasks for like a week. But
like you would take my task. You would take my tasks. Like I would, like I'm not worried about with Catherine's stuff because I know that you could do anything that Catherine would need. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like Becca, her stuff, like as long as I tell her, it's pretty fine. Mm-hmm. And then like I'm only worried about Rebecca because I'm like, I'm very much like priority like for. I don't know. I'm just like, oh my God, it's the week before release. Like, what if something goes wrong? I don't know.
Yeah. It's
But
hard.
her and Jamie, her husband, are really good about like being like, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So. I want to reiterate, they never pressure us for anything. And they are very much 100% like, are you okay? How is your workload? Like, let us know everything. How
even when I visited Jess, Rebecca was like, are you still traveling? And I was like, yeah, but I can meet. Like, I'm literally working at Jess. She's like, no, I'll just text you what I need. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, she was totally fine with it. But we're also very independent workers. Like, Rebecca's been on like deadline for her books, and like I very rarely have talked to her in the last like month because she's been trying to finish.
Yeah.
So I will only check in if I like absolutely need something. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm not, it's very normal for authors to like have meetings like you and Rebecca meet once a week. Like I very rarely like sit down and meet with my authors. It's more like shoot them a text here or like send an email here just to like check in or ask. But other than that, it's very independent work. So
well, and that's why I like having the weekly meetings with Rebecca, because like I don't have to do that often because I just write it down in a notebook and then we address it all in an hour. Mm-hmm. Unless it's like something I absolutely need, like, hey, did we talk about this? Like, did we forget about this? Or like she'll be like, hey, what's your opinion on this or this or that? But yeah, most of the time it's very much like a do your own thing now, which has changed because like last year I'd be like, I need to be told every little thing to do because I was so scared I would screw something up. Like, am I capable of doing this? But it's actually cool to see how far I've come of like how many things I can actually do and like how confident I've become. I even use commas in the right place now. Sometimes.
The Oxford comma.
I hate the Oxford comma.
You gotta use it. You don't use it. You have to use it.
I don't. That's not the comma I use. I use the normal comma.
Okay. What do you mean
not the Oxford one. Like the Oxford one where you put the list and it's after. That's stupid.
That's normal.
To an English teacher.
Okay.
Even Devin was like, I hate commas.
I know. I was like, well, technically you should. But then I was like, oh, but I did look it up and they like say when you want to be informal, like you technically don't need to have a comma there. So I guess we don't need a comma there, but it's fine. Not in an annoying way. And let me double check to see like if we really need a comma.
Yeah. But I've become more confident in all the skills that I've learned. And I feel very confident now to do things. So
well, and I feel like it's really cool that the people we work for are very confident in our skills, that they'll just be like, do this for me. Mm-hmm. Like, okay.
I'm like, are you sure? Do you like this? Yep, that's great. That's it? Okay, cool. Thanks.
Like, see, I'm someone though who makes like 3 different versions of something. And I'm like, here are your options. I hope you like one of them.
Well, yeah, I do that. And they're like, no, this is great. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I hope we get to do this for a very long time.
Yeah. We were talking about like, where do we see ourselves? Like, do we want to be like an agent? Like, is that even something that we could do? I know you don't have a desire, but I'm like, that'd be cool to like try.
No, I mean, I'd like to like figure out making like money wise to like continue like making more money and like taking on a lot more like of the important tasks in an author's
like
business.
As we learn more, we can like, I say climb up, but it's like there's like you could do so many things in this industry, like so many things, and you just have to learn them. And that takes time. So it's like starting over in a new career.
But I'm doing 30. Like really cool stuff for Gianna that I'm excited about. Like looking at like keywords to use for your book and like categories and Facebook ads and.
Yeah. See, I haven't done all that. I mean, I know how to do the Facebook ads thing because I've done it for Rebecca a little bit, but I haven't like really dived into that. I'm like, maybe I'll do that. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a great year.
Yeah. Went by very
fast. And a lot of our friends too have like started to work in this industry, and that's really cool to see them.
Yeah.
One, to see who they work for because I'm very nosy, but also just to see like what they're doing and seeing them be happy. Do you know what I mean? Like that's also really cool.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's what we love, so it's really fun to be able to do what we love.
This was a fun episode.
Yeah. I will say our assumptions episode was actually funny though. I was laughing while I was editing that one.
I started watching it over and I was like, oh man, it made me giggle a lot.
Our most fun episode though, do you know which one it is that we've done? Is our romance reading journey one.
Oh my God.
I have not laughed that hard in an episode before.
Yeah.
You learn new things every day.
Yep. You still make fun of me for that.
I do.
It's fine. I don't know. If you have any ideas for us, let us know in the comments of what you want us to do. Because we do go through the comments and see what people like. Like, what would you like to see us just like sit down and chat about? Which is why I like the podcast, because we can do this.
Yeah.
If you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating. Tell us what you thought of the podcast. The pod.
Don't call it the pod.
The pod. What's the emoji? Ouch.
What could be? I don't want to be basic and do like a pink heart, but what could stand for our 1 year working for ourselves?
The confetti emoji.
I mean, that's probably more basic than the pink heart, but okay, we'll do confetti emoji.
No, I always use the pink heart.
I always use the confetti emoji when I'm like, yay, and then you do the confetti emoji.
That's true.
It's fine.
Confetti
use
emoji.
the confetti emoji.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed our bookish life, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.